Okay, continue. Uh, so the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on job and skills demand during and after the pandemic has been driven away. To come back, uh, we are yet to find out. Uh, we will also be welcoming newcomers to IIT Alumni Canada. Uh, as far as the panelists are concerned, uh, they will be actually discussing the subject rather than having prepared speeches, and it will be moderated by Vibha Tyagi. Uh, uh, the uh, uh, the subject has been very well discussed in a paper actually uh, uh, presented by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, uh, an assessment of the impact of COVID-19 on job and skills demand using online data is given by them on their 9th of April paper, which you could look up on the internet. Uh, Basically, uh, policy responses to coronavirus COVID-19 uses data gathered in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK, and USA between January and November of 2020. And based on that, the panel has come up with this paper. It uh, 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 it discusses subjects such as increase in vacancies, remote working arrangements. We've all been through that. Big companies like SNC-Lavalin uh, virtually have abandoned their offices. Everybody who has to work on design or management or taking out uh, uh, proposals or getting quotations for jobs are doing it from home. They don't have to go to site. Only those people who make a difference, physical, palpable uh, difference on site, who are changing the earth in some ways, uh, are required to go to site. So you can see the same sort of thing happening in the IT industry. I think most of you are uh, uh, involved in the IT industry to some extent or the other. And a number of my relatives are in that industry, and all of them are working out of home. The younger folk, unfortunately, have to deal with uh, both the parents working from home and their children who are young having to take their lessons online as well. And there are constant interruptions and that sort of thing happening. The children need to get a hand from their parents on how to do things and so on. So these are new challenges that have to be met. New skills have to be developed, and new programs probably have to be developed that will help uh, such demands that are coming. Um, the workforce at home has increased, obviously, because of that. Whereas the number of cars that you see on the road has substantially decreased. The 401, which used to be called the battle zone, is today a wide open road and people are seen to be speeding. That's another problem that has always existed. Speeding is not the big problem, but traffic is moving beautifully. I could make it from Pickering to Oakville in less than an hour, whereas previously it would take me 1.5 to 2 hours. Uh, so that's a big difference. Then frontline workers uh, have been in very high demand. Uh, Jobs subjected to social distancing, leisure, and hospitality have suffered. What it means is uh, when you have a hotel or when you're having any gatherings where people have to come together, jobs that deal with that have obviously uh, reduced because of obvious reasons. You need social distancing, you can't have a crowd. So, all of these matters are going to have an impact. Uh, the epidemiologists are having a field day. You get new predictions every day from different epidemiologists. Uh, we got people coming up with statistics from India saying so many people have died and so many cases are being added every day. And we have epidemiologists saying that no, 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 the number should be at least 10 times as high as what is being published. And so you really don't know what the heck is going on. Uh, One of our very good administrators, the commissioner of Mumbai, Mr. Iqbal Singh Chahal, he took matters in his own hand. He decided to go after the problem because it was really a true problem, a real problem. And he went after the real numbers, he got them, and he has managed to have beds for ICUs in Mumbai. It's not a problem anymore. They have the vaccines that they need in Mumbai, and you don't have the huge lineups that you used to have. He's sending people home to home. So these sort of skills have been thrown up. These sort of challenges have been thrown up, and new skills are being developed as they go. So, among the new skills, we need good administrators. That is a big challenge. That's a big demand in India as well as in Canada, where lockdown periods are being uh, increased or decreased, and people have been told that vaccinations are, you'll get your vaccination sooner. You call up the government and they say, no, no, there's no such guarantee. Uh, you try to book your vaccination in advance. So I'm sure the panelists are going to discuss all of these items, and uh, it will be a very, very interesting webinar. In this webinar, we have the membership department taking a huge big uh, part. They are going to welcome all newcomers to IIT Alumni Canada. I welcome all of them, and I commend Hitesh Doshi and Satish Srivastava, who have been working very hard on getting things together, cleaning up the database, and meeting other challenges that uh, we didn't know existed, but which they brought to the fore. And we are going to make some changes as time comes by. I don't know. I don't want to take too much of your time once I get going. I It's a little difficult for me to stop. So I wish you all the best, and I'm sure this is going to be a super seminar, webinar, and I'll leave the reins in the able hands of Amit and Vibha Tyagi. Thank you.
Thanks,
Did I
Ashwaji.
take? Was that in time?
Thanks, Ashwaji.
Thanks,
Okay.
Vishwasi. That
Okay.
That's helpful. Thank you. It was a good introduction in terms of what we are trying to do today, what we want to achieve. And I know we are keen to start off on the webinar, so I'll do a very quick kind of a background about the mentorship, the IFI team, what we are, and just one second, I think, and why we are here today. So as a mentorship team or IFI team, our scope is to help our new members as well as our existing members in really developing themselves in any shape or form as they need it. And as I define mentorship, it's not about creating your own image as a mentor to your mentee, but it's all about how do you give them an opportunity to grow, right? That's the motto that we follow from an IFI standpoint, and that's basically what our mentorship team try to strive for. In terms of our IFI team, Vijay, you want to give a quick introduction about yourself?
Thank you, Amit. Yes, my name is Vijay Thomas, and I'm an alumni of IIT Roorkee. I have a PhD in biotechnology, and here I worked as a postdoc fellow at University of Toronto. And after that, I've been managing applied research, which is an industry-led research, helping startups commercialize and get government help in building their own challenges at Durham College, which is in Oshawa.
Welcome. Thanks, everybody. Ashish?
Hello, my name is Ashish Bhatia. I'm an alum of IIT Kanpur 2004 batch, and after that I did my MBA from Indiana University in US. In Canada, I moved in 2018, and since then I've been working with FedEx as a pricing and revenue management analyst there.
Thanks, Ashish. And my name is Amit Mahajan. I'm from IIT Varanasi, and I'm Calcutta. Been in Canada now for last 10 years almost, working with Deloitte, lead the sourcing and procurement advisory practice for Deloitte nationally. Been now with the IITAC for last 4-5 years and lead the IFI team here. So welcome everybody, and thanks for everyone to, especially our hosts, our panelists, as well as everybody else who has joined in to listen to the webinar. In terms of our vision, and I know I'm going a little bit fast because we want to get to the panel discussion. That's the crux of it, not listening to me. Our primary focus is or has been around newcomers to Canada and helping them really get assimilated within the Canadian marketplace from a both economic as well as social standpoint. But as we look through this year, we want to expand that program and support all other alumni as they look to upskill, and that's why this particular professional development event as well is what those upskill requirements are. What does people need to start to look through as pandemic shifts our focus on different type of jobs, different type of skills. I tell my folks back in Deloitte as well, even consulting as we see today is not going to exist in 2 years, right? It's going to totally change. What job I am doing today is not going to remain. So what does that mean, and how do we continue to expand on that? On our plan for this year, it's based on 4 pillars. We want to continue to increase our awareness. Our previous IFI team has done phenomenal job in setting up IFI and getting it to where we are today. I think our job is to really increase its more awareness broadly using different social media campaigns and other things, as well as that helps us drive recruitment, right? The more mentees and the more mentors that are there as part of the program obviously helps each one of us, and really helps drive the culture and the support group for broader IIT. The other piece is streamlining the execution. I guess being a supply chain guy, if I don't say streamlining execution, that probably would be a bad thing. And we have Ashish as well from FedEx standpoint, so we know how to streamline those execution. Hopefully we can. That's the other piece, and then improve the engagement of the broader group so that we get more engagement from everyone as we go along. Journey so far, right now we have 17 active mentees. Our goal is to increase that significantly more as we go through the year. 23 mentors. Shout out to all our mentors. That's our backbone, not Vibha, Ashish, or myself. It's our mentor community. That's our backbone. They've been standing strong with us in all of this last year and a half or so. And I think they've been a really great help to our mentees. We've added 4 new mentees since the beginning of this fiscal year. So thanks for everyone who's joined in and been helping those mentees out. In terms of, this is my plugin, I guess, how to be, request for mentorship, become an active member of IITAC, update your profiles, make sure that the profiles are up to date so that people can know who you are and what your background is. We have an awesome IFI resource that once you become a member, you can log in onto the website to really access those, which helps you see some of the pre-packaged pieces that we have, looking at the mentor profiles. And based on that, if you like a specific mentor or mentors, reach out to our team, ifi@iitalumnicanada.com, to request for mentorship piece. Next up is our panel discussion. So over to you, everybody.
Thank you, Amit. Can I please ask all my panel members to please switch on your camera and unmute yourself? So we have an hour to discuss a very relevant topic, which is the impact of this current pandemic on the industry and also on the skill requirements that all of us are experiencing this. So good morning, everyone, and I thank you all for joining us today. We all know that this global pandemic has not only threatened the health, it has also disrupted the economic activity, which has helped really harm the personal well-being and job security. So I was just reading an article, and according to the IMF chief economist Geeta Gopinath, this is estimated to be the worst hit since the Great Depression in 1930. So we can imagine, and this is only has been estimated what we can see till now. So we don't know, the worst is yet to come in case of economic disruption. So because of the drop in retail footfall, a disruption in manufacturing and supply chain operations, and also the workplace employee health concerns. So everything has disrupted, and also the economic activities that has taken the major hit. So we all are aware of it. So that's why this topic is very relevant. And I'm so pleased to hear the perspectives and insights from our esteemed panelists who are leaders in their respective fields. So I will just go by the order of appearance on my screen, and then I will ask my panelists to please introduce themselves to all the attendees. Mr. Vijay Thomas.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Vibha, and really appreciate you inviting me. My name is Vijay Thomas. I am an entrepreneur, run a technology company called Tangential. We've been in business for the last 17 years. We do business in Canada, US, and India. I also run a small venture capital company called Tangential Ventures. We invest in early startup companies. And I'm also the current president of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. And on that front, everything that you mentioned right now on the IFI front was so exciting. I really want to have a meeting with the IFI folks. We can do a lot together. And I think we really need to have a meeting on that front. And I'll just do a quick shameless plug of our Oxygen for India event that we are doing at the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. It has been a huge success. Tomorrow, it was 4 Sundays. The next Sunday is tomorrow at 10:30 to 1 p.m. 1 p.m. 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we had who's who, coast to coast, including Vishwasji will be also speaking tomorrow. So I'd request all IIT alumni to please join. And one more thing before I go is I'm also part of the board of TAI Toronto. And I'm only on the board, but you have the pleasure of having our president, Mahendra Naik. So he will actually give us more details about that. So I think it's a great ecosystem. I think all of us are trying to do a lot of the same things. I think if we can, I want to give the example of like a conductor in an orchestra. If all of us start playing from the same hymn book, right? We can really make beautiful music together. Sometimes I don't think it is all true. We're kind of roughly playing from the same, hymn book, but it's not all synchronized. So I think there is an opportunity for us all in these different organizations to synchronize. And the IIT alumni definitely is an integral part of that whole orchestra that we can put together, especially in the India-Canada, corridor. And I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Vijay. Mr. Mahendra Nayak.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Viba, and thank you very much to the IIT Alumni Association. It's absolute honor and a privilege to be asked to be on a panel and interact with my fellow entrepreneurs, business people, and professionals. So thank you very much. I'm Mahendra Nayak. I've been in Canada most of my life. I went to U of T, became a CPA, worked for a big accounting firm, and joined a family office and got involved in a variety of businesses, including mining, financial services, a little bit of real estate investing, etc. So, entrepreneurship, mentoring, coaching is in my blood, but it's also key part of what TIE is about. It's Indus Entrepreneurs, and many of you may know about it, but it had its origins in Silicon Valley by Indians who had come from India to America. And they ended up, initially they struggled, and then they started helping each other. And from that, they became successful. And then they started to give back and provide assistance to newcomers. And suddenly somebody said, listen, why don't we organize ourselves? And that's how TIE became. So the TIE chapter, it originated from Silicon Valley. Today, more than 61 chapters around the world, more than 35,000 members. In Toronto, we started the chapter back in 2000. Again, it's a non-for-profit organization. The fundamental principles of TIE is fostering entrepreneurship, but underlying that, it's mentoring, educating, supporting, coaching, and all that. And there's a strong, overwhelming philanthropic aspect of this organization. You gotta give and don't always expect return. The return is gratification. It's the use of your time, your knowledge, your experience, and it is very powerful. I'll add a couple of anecdotes to TIE and IIT. I happen to mentor a number of our IIT graduates and assist in their business here in Canada. But we had a university challenge a few weeks ago, and I saw some phenomenal companies coming out of India, and there was one company out of all the graduates were IIT Madras, and they're developing 4 young guys. Interesting business in that. But having said that, it's a plug for Canada. The Canadian team, IITAC, led by 2 female Asian entrepreneurs, won. Okay, so what am I getting at? Canada has a great system and a process of supporting new people coming into the country, including entrepreneurs. I would say categorically that all of us who have responsibilities in this positions and role don't take full advantage of it. So TIE is open to support all entrepreneurs, including newcomers.
Thank you, Mahendra. Can I request Mr. Surinder Sharma to introduce himself?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay. Thank you, Viva. I have been associated with IIT alumni since I came in 1995 and run through and one of the founders of the IFI program. But giving my little professional background, when I left India, I was a general manager with Bajaj Electricals in Mumbai. Then I moved to Dubai. I served as general manager with Jumbo Electronics. I was responsible for the entire AGC markets and establishing new manufacturing. Then I was one of the lucky ones to find a job even before reaching here. So in 96, I joined QBD Cooling Systems in Brampton. And 2001, I decided to venture and get into my own business and started a company called Power Saving Systems in collaboration with one US company. Then
we have been focusing on doing energy audits for manufacturing and commercial properties and businesses, and also doing the retrofit programs. Then we got into working at the back end of utilities in implementing the small business lighting program, which was one of the most successful program in Ontario in bringing efficiency in nearly 100,000 small units in the GTA area. So we had worked very actively in that. And on the sports side, a little bit to make humor, I was the inter-IIT table tennis champion for a couple of years. And presently in Ontario, I'm the over 55 years title holder from 2019. And due to last 2 years of COVID, there has been no championship. So I'm still the title holder of that. So I look forward to doing more mentoring, and all the newcomers who have come, they should take advantage of the present situation when they have got more free time to think and plan and become themselves successful business people. That's what I would like to recommend. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. Mr. Monish Sinha.
Hi, my name is Monish. I currently lead the strategy and corporate development function at Primerica Canada. My background is in strategy. I worked at the Boston Consulting Group for over 6 years, Scotiabank 2 years. Fundamentally have done strategy for a while. I hold a dual degree from IIT Kharagpur, and I have a MBA degree from ISB Hyderabad. And I'm happy to be here in the company of esteemed panelists, and happy to provide any sort of help that I can in my capacity.
Thank you, Manish. You've been a great help. Mr. Nandan Mishra.
Hi, so I came to Canada in 2018. We have, my company is called Algo8. We founded Algo8 in 2018. We've been able to co-create 2 public listed ventures in Canada. They are listed on Canadian Security Exchange now. We were able to translate this entire AI built in India as public ventures in Canada. That gave us a lot of confidence. Our current product offerings focus on industrial AI, and we work on in the areas of predictive maintenance. We work in the areas of process optimization using AI, and so that's the thing. And I graduated in 2012. I was a dual degree student at Y7 IIT Kanpur, and then I was with Citibank, and then briefly with Google Maps. And then I had a very independent venture of creating a political party. That's Aam Aadmi Party. So I was the founding member and campaign manager for Arvind Kejriwal, and then OSD for him till 2016. And then we started this, I started my entrepreneurship journey. And then 2018, Canada happened. And it's been going great. And we're now forward integrating into the US market. And in India also, we have 7 R&D labs where we work with 30 professors and almost 45 research students to translate a lot of research and do that tech transfer. So that's what I'm doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it is indeed very impressive. Just a couple of points for all the attendees. First, I just want to draw your attention that we all are live on Facebook. And second, I request you to post your questions to the panel members relevant to the COVID pandemic, industry trends, skills trends, anything that in education sector or industry sector in Q&A section. And I will take up your questions from there, and I will ask my esteemed panel members your questions. In the meantime, I have a discussion point. I wouldn't say it's a question to all of you, and then you will get, I mean, I'm not saying as you will get, but yeah, be brief in the respect of time, but 3 to 4 minutes to, and I will again go by the same order because this is how you appear on my screen. So the question is, in your opinion, what are the most significant impacts of pandemic you have seen? You can talk about top 3, top 5, like the most significant in your respective perspective, in your respective fields, and which impacts do you think will be short-term and which impacts you think will be long-term, and how? So I will again start with Mr. Vijay Thomas.
Thank you, Vibaji. And again, I think there's lots of theories going around in terms of, what kind of recovery, V-shaped, and the one that I think, and this is my, you can follow different theories. My theory is it's going to be a K-shaped recovery. With a K-shaped recovery, there's going to be some sectors that are going to recover, and you've already seen that, and some of you already alluded to it. If you are in digital transformation, if you are in digitizing human work, right? All of those things have done better. If you are in anything that's old school, in human labor, or anything to do with commercial real estate, there are some sectors that might have to reinvent themselves, and those are definitely going down, right? So there is a K-shaped recovery. This is my theory on it. So which are the sectors, and if you are so you got to look at this from two perspectives, right? I mean, I'm looking at it as an investor perspective. I'm looking at this from an owner perspective, right? So that's one perspective. And there's another perspective is if you're a worker perspective. So those are different perspectives. Secondly, there's also, you got to overlay geography on this. There's no one single formula for the world. So today, because as a venture capital investor, we also invested in a couple of PPE startups in Canada, right? Try to go and get an industrial unit in Canada today. Impossible. Okay, where is the recession? Where is COVID? You cannot get a industrial unit. All industrial units the prices of industrial units have gone up, rents have gone up. Nobody will give you a break. There is no COVID in the industrial space. Why? Because with the whole with COVID, as well as the problems with China, everybody is trying to bring manufacturing back to Canada. So that's another development that's happening. So you got to overlay all of these developments. There's no one single formula. So if you're in Canada and you're looking at doing something today, if you've got money to spend, industrial spaces, very good investment. Okay, contrary to opinion where you think it is a very good investment, because so these are things that you need once you get in. So there is no single answer to this. If you are an employee today, and if you are today as an employer, I'm trying to find people, I'm losing people left, right, and center, because people are willing to pay a premium. So where is the recession? Where there is a premium, people are getting starting bonuses, everything's happening. So is that K-shaped recovery? It depends on which element you're on. If you're on that up K angle, this is the roaring 20s already. It is the roaring 20s. So but if you're on the other side, it's doom. Yes. Now, how do we get the people on that lower K to try to offset themselves, get on the higher K? So I think that is the issue that we've got to all the thing. If anybody says there is no the higher K, I am willing to have an argument with them. Okay, so it is definitely possible. The company I run, we're a digital transformation company, and not to brag, but 2020 was our best year ever. Okay, so you go around, a lot of the people in technology, 2020 was their best year ever. So it is definitely happening. If you are in manufacturing items that people need in Canada, many of them had a best year ever, right? So it all depends. So so I can take more questions in more detail, but I think that's my perspective. There is no real single answer. But you'll have to, based on where you are, look at which are the ones that are on the upside K, stay away from the ones that are on the downside K. Now the downside K, some of them may be long-term downside K, some of them may be short-term downside K. So if you're already invested, don't panic sell as well. I, because of our thing, own some commercial office real estate, right? The first thing you can have is sell it. Okay, it's going down, it's on the downside K. But the downside K, I don't think so. If you look, you've got to layer on additional things in there. Where is this property? Where is it? Is that going to be in demand? Is Canada going to boom? Is there going to be more people coming into Canada? Would they need office spaces with social distancing? Now you cannot cram people into offices as well. You need to have more space. So there's a bunch of different things like that that you've got to take into account. So we can discuss in more detail, but I think Vibha, to keep the panel going, I'd like to rest now, but we'll over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mahendraji.
Mahendra, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say the most significant change is, and I'll touch on this later on as well, is a change of behavior. Okay. You hear it too many times. I've heard it so many times. It's unprecedented. It's not normal. We'd love to get back to normal. I'm firmly in the camp that there's a new normal here. Okay. Look at it very positively. Okay. So a number of things that I'm involved as an investor, as a director. The companies and the businesses have adjusted. The physical process of protecting workers, make sure all the health guidelines and that are followed. Okay, so there's an additional burden or cost, but I will say it's greatly appreciated by the employees involved. And by the way, all the employees that are involved are ever grateful for the company and the support that they're providing. Okay, so that I think is very positive. The other thing that I would say is that things are not going to go back to what they were used to. Okay, so clearly accept what what you have to do. The other thing that I'm noticing, and I'm also involved in the extractive industry as well as financial services and other things, is take a zero-based approach to how you do business. Okay, including again, an overused descriptive narrative supply chain. Okay, and what is becoming, and Vijay alluded to it earlier and others as well. It says, what you thought worked and what was reliable, don't count on that. And I would take that approach that it's permanent, or approach it that it's going to be significant, it's going to be here for a while, and it makes sense, business or otherwise, for your business or organization. Okay, right now it may seem faddish that let's onshore everything. Okay, well, okay, it grabs the headlines and politicians and others, get the credit or whatever. But think hard about your business, what makes work. And then what I would say is come up with alternative solutions. May not be the cheapest, may not be the efficient, but they're reliable and won't disrupt your business or destroy your business. Okay, and that is very important. And therein lies the greater opportunity for the entrepreneurs who are out there. Okay, who understand that, come up with an alternative way, come up with a solution. So everything that I'm involved, we have a plan A, plan B, and a plan C, And yeah, plan B and C may be more expensive and inconvenient. Some of us may have to adjust, but nonetheless. But the other comment that I would make, the resiliency of people, okay? In all the things that I'm involved, there hasn't been a loss of productivity or loss of business, okay? Yeah, in some cases, business has increased, as Vijay said, okay? So, we, human nature as it is, we attract employment, work, business to physical spaces, okay? Well, get used to digital spaces. Yeah, there's always be a need for physical space and demand for it and all that. But today, in a lot of businesses, it's indifferent where you are. As long as you're connected, you can conduct your business and be productive and be helpful. Okay, I'll stop now.
Thank you, Matt. Surendraji.
Yes, I personally feel there has been a big impact. It's not that there has been no impact. The way business is going to be conducted, the way the professionals can work going forward, there's going to be. So let's talk, since you asked the question short term, long term, let's talk short term first. Short term, like my other colleague said, there's going to be change in behavior, habits. So that's all forced actually. It's not planned. And there's going to be a lot of remote working. People will not be going to workplace and they'll think that this is a more efficient way slowly. and the supply of goods also to some extent has been affected, and the amount of business travel has short-term decreased. More digital communication has come in. The change in consumer behavior is also noticed. Unemployment also to some extent. Yes, some people have lost jobs. And prices also, if you go in the market and see, ask your wife, she'll tell this, some prices have gone up. And there's a decline in the economic activity. Even to some extent, there is a mental health issues also. There's more anxiety, more fear, more worry, more concern, uncertainties. So all these are short term. So coming to long term, there is shift in the business behavior. The consumer needs are changing. There may be more focus on local manufacturing rather than importing. So local manufacturing should get a boost, and reduce business travel. Like I mentioned, it's going to be on a long-term basis. People will get used to doing business digitally. Increase virtual meetings, conferences, Zoom, we see now it's so effective. Once the things are normal also, we might say, okay, let's do half of the meeting in the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce and IIT alumni just through Zoom. Why bother to drive all the way? Even the traffic on the roads has decreased. So business overall has become more resilient, flexible, efficient. Digital technologies and automation is on the go, increase. There's going to be more opportunities. The supply chain will be more localized, and transfer of technology is also going to be more rapid. So these are all short-term, long-term. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Monish?
Yeah, I think the fundamental change that I think has happened is the speed of digital adoption. I think everyone is aware of that. But the point that I want to elaborate on is it's digital adoption not in one sector. It is digital adoption in work. It is digital adoption in fitness, in learning, in socialization, everywhere. So, and as Mahendra said, there's a fundamental change in behavior. Companies are expected to evolve. Their bottom line is at stake. So they were expected to evolve quickly. No one thought that consumers would evolve so fast. I mean, consumers have evolved. They have become comfortable doing things online that they haven't been in the past. And this is surely something that is going to stay. This is not going to go back. Obviously, after everything gets normal, things are going to fall back a little bit, but it's not going to go back where it was. It is by far the biggest change. And maybe I touch upon one area which I think might be relevant for people here on the socialization aspect, on the networking aspect. Fundamentally, how we network and how jobs recruitment happens has changed. It is fundamentally changed. Last year, I have done more networking than I have been able to do in the last 5-6 years, simply because it's been so easy. And people are okay giving you time online, meeting people online on Zoom. I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have to leave my desk, raise eyebrows. I don't have to go halfway across the city. It's become so easy that networking, which used to be tough, you have to find time, you have to find time in someone else's calendar, you have to find time for travel. That has become very easy. And I think if people are not utilizing this opportunity, they should. Networking is, it's not meant for early stage career people. It has to be done across the board for everyone. And if people are not doing it, they should probably use this opportunity to network with people. That's fundamentally how networking has changed. Recruitment has changed. Recruitment firms are completely happy doing online recruitment. My wife runs a startup. 75% of our employees she has never met. So this is a fundamental change, which I think in the long run will help people, because I remember a time when I was in Canada, my wife was looking to move to Canada, and companies were not meeting her for a telecon. They were saying that you come here, then we'll talk to you. All that has changed. People are now willing to talk to you wherever you are. I mean, you don't need to be in Toronto to interview for a job in Toronto. So that is a fundamental shift in recruitment that I think is very, very beneficial. Now, on the negative side, what has happened is actually for firms, finding good candidates has become very, very tough. It is like a K recovery kind of thing, as Vijay talked about. And it's very simple. People have become a little risk averse. They don't want to go into a new job for an insignificant gain. So you have to, if you need a good candidate, you have to up your offers. You have to give a significant raise in terms of what role you're offering, a significant raise in terms of what compensation you're offering, and which presents a good opportunity for all of us. I mean, if you are able to differentiate yourself and position yourself on the right side of the K curve, then things can look bright for you. So those are a few things that I think are relevant from a recruitment and networking point of view, which can impact all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nandan.
Yeah, so I think, the subjective reality of life changed for everyone. I'll see what happens is that we are looking at human being, human doing, and human having. So we live a life of living and lifestyle. So what we live is actually what we are doing. So what has changed is the frame of reference. So somehow this pandemic has shifted us from living and having, from living and lifestyle to life itself because of the fragility. So it's so fragile. Life is so fragile. What has been realized in it is that it is the entire reorganization of the commerce is going to happen around this realization that life is very fragile.
Yeah.
So be it your digital interventions to do commerce, be it the demand side or the supply side, be it the last mile supply chains that we are seeing that want us to stay in and they want us to get everything delivered at our home. But the basic frame of reference shift that I am seeing, it's a tectonic shift, I would say, that because people are now focusing on life. So at the level of self, it is more life focused than living and lifestyle. I'm seeing people take choices. Second thing, I found that at a family level also, people are spending more time at home. So I would actually definitely appreciate that. So that is also there. From COVID is definitely a breakdown, but it's an opportunity for breakthrough as well. So I would actually, for example, we have a company called Predict Medics. It's a public listed company now in Canada, as I was telling you. We pivoted to a public screening model that we built on AI. And right now it's doing very, very well. So it's about the resilience, as somebody talked, that how you can revisualize a future with certain changed conditions, and integrate with that possibility to do a breakthrough. So I think that as entrepreneurs, we got to break through. We have got to declare the breakdown. So for me, two breakdowns happened. So one was the pivot that happened for Predict Medics, and the second was that we found out that the manufacturing vertical was now not more about product-centric selling, but more about digital transformation, as Vijay pointed out, right? So that led to a massive, we're finding that a lot of medium-sized enterprises in Canada and India are opting for massive digital transformation. So one of my clients has had a 30% bottom line improvement due to digital transformation. He wouldn't have done that actually had it not been these times. He opted for it because of this, and the result is that he's doing 30% more efficient business. So I think it is a massive opportunity to kind of pivot, to reintegrate with a creative future, and kind of reimagine that future. It's a breakdown, but it's an opportunity to break through.
Agree with you. We forced ourselves to adapt to the new normal, and I call it a never normal because I don't think things are going back to the way it was earlier. And we've pushed ourselves. Like for me, if I had to recruit somebody, I always thought that I have to meet that person. I have to read the body language, but I know that is not an option anymore. So I'm relying on what I see, what I read, right? So we all have pushed ourselves, and we all have come up with a recovery tactic, right? To survival tactic, I would say. So I'm getting some questions in the chat too, and I encourage the attendees to post more questions. Just one more. I've always seen that, the newcomers that come to Canada, they're generally not able to find the jobs. And like, it's not a generalized statement, but in quite some cases, they are not able to find the jobs according to their abilities and the backgrounds. And now there is a challenge of pandemic. So I think I would like to hear your views, all of your views on a piece of advice or two pieces of advice to the newcomers. What should they be doing, to find a job, or what should be their tactic to, come and just place their foot in this new country? So I would go with Vijay.
Okay, so thank you. And I think it is, there's a saying, only the paranoid survive. I'm going to add in only the agile survive. So I think we've got to evolve now. I have a counter thing, and I think Monish, those who are recruiting, those who are actually managing people know, I'm willing to call people and interview them in India and tell them, we'll send you the tickets, we'll get you here. I mean, there's so much. If you need to, if you don't need to, because some of the projects that we do, we still need people to be in, on Canadian soil. They don't need to be in the office. They need to be on Canadian soil. Now, I'm finding it difficult even getting those kind of people. So again, depending, as we said, somebody said the right curve, right K. If you're on the right K, people will come and pick you up at the airport and take you, right? So it depends where you are. So if you're on the right curve, I will send a limousine to the airport to pick these people. I'm short of people right now. So it depends who you're talking to. There is a newcomer. They don't even have to get, you don't even have a house. We will take care of that as well. So it's, as we said, look for that K. Where is it that there is a lot of demand? And today, I think, as people alluded to, every industry that you're working on has a digital component, right? And some of them have moved quicker. Now, stick to that digital component. If you're in retail, try to get in the e-commerce side of retail, order management, traditional retail. If you're in the warehouse, learn a warehouse management system. Get on the digital side of that. There is no, I think somebody talked about FedEx and pricing or whatever. All of those things will continue, right? That's not going anywhere. So how do you get on anything that's digital, that leverages newer technology, big data, AI, any of those kind of things? I think huge demand. Now there's so much demand that you might actually think that you need to be an expert in this to get a job there. You are wrong. Even if you read up a few pages, you have an understanding of it, people are willing to hire you. So there is a huge shortage of people. So the thing what I want to tell people is, directionally make a change. Don't say I am an expert in this physical sense of doing things, right? In your segment where you do, there will be a digital component. If so try to focus on that digital component, and you will see that as you do that, the jobs will come. People will come to you and say, hey, you know what, SNC Lavalin, we're digitizing everything that we do. We don't want paper or drawings. And by the way, I'm a mechanical engineer that run a software company. So I do know how, old school, technology and actual, I've built, sugar factories and boilers and stuff like that. So if you stick to that, within that technology, there will be a digital element to that, right? How do you, so there is, I think, to stick to that element, and I think you'll do well.
Thank you. Mahendra, do you have
I mean, I'll go back to your question, Vibha, newcomers and that. I think fundamentally, the way, I've lived here most of my life, and I've seen the waves of immigrants and the challenges and the struggles that they've gone through. But I will say today, categorically, newcomers are welcome in this country. The amount of support, government, quasi-government, even businesses is tremendous. And what I think we are attracting, and it's welcome, by the way, is knowledge-based people. And to me, Canada is attracting capital, and my definition of capital is not financial only. Yeah, it would be nice if people came with bags of money, but no. To me, capital is intellectual capital, human capital, knowledge capital, The other thing that I would say to newcomers, in my experience involved with TI and a number of the other businesses I'm involved in, I interact with people in India, Nepal, and Africa, and a few other places, is that understand the language and the process and the approach of doing international business. Okay, I see a lot of bright people coming from India. Okay, and to me, they should highlight their skill sets, their knowledge, and not necessarily what they did in India and all of that. Okay, if you have a very open mind, very adaptable, then I think you've got a good chance to succeed. Okay, categorically, Canada needs knowledge-based workers, and period. Okay, and organizations like ourselves are already there to support and direct. Okay.
So just to add, I think one thing I forgot to say, but I think one other thing is from a Canadian workforce perspective, timing couldn't be better. There's a lot of people that are going to retire in the Canadian workforce. So for anybody new, this is fantastic. And the people who are retiring are also people who are not so digitally savvy. So I think, people that come in right now, you're here, right place, right time. Okay, so again, you've got to be patient. It will happen. So as I said, just keep the energy on the digital side. And from a timing perspective, will there be a demand? Absolutely. The Canadian workforce is aging. A lot of them are going to come out of the workforce. So Canada needs new people for sure.
Perfect. Vijay, there is a question for you. So do you think the employment sector will do good in 2021? It's from the audience.
Yes. Now, again, it depends on the K-shaped. Already this K is doing very well. This K is not doing well. So you've got to decide on which K are you on, which side of the K are you on. So, and within your industry as well, let's take an example, retail. If you're in Loblaws and in Loblaws, there's a section that does e-commerce for Loblaws, right? And there's one which is just general store operations. Now, if you have an opportunity to jump from store operations to e-commerce, do it. Take that call. Okay, so you can't say retail is dying. I'm going to go into finance now, or I'm going to go and learn how to program. You don't have to do that. Within that sector, retail is not going away. People have to buy stuff, but within retail is evolving. So find out. I don't think any industries are dying. We need steel. We need all of that. Everything will be there. But if you are in a steel industry, there's a group that they're putting together to digitize things. Volunteer to being on that group, right? Hey, you know what? You've got to be agile. Look around. You have a good radar screen of seeing where things are going and jump on it. Okay, so it's not, none of these industries are going to die. The automotive industry, we still need cars, right? It's going to happen. It's still going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So Viva, let me just add on a comment on retail. Okay, mm-hmm. So I'm mentoring a young entrepreneur. Okay, what he's done is gone online and working with smaller grocery stores, ethnic, okay, around the GTA and eventually expanding. Okay, and he's doing tremendous. Okay, of course he's been aided by COVID. So the stat that caught my eye was when a consumer goes to these grocery stores, the average bill is about $35. That same customer goes on their online site, okay? The average ticket is closer to $60, okay? All right? So what this entrepreneur has done, okay? No disrespect to mom and pop, okay? He says, okay, mom and pop, I can put you on a similar platform, the likes of Amazon and the big Loblaws and all that, okay? All right? Because today, all consumers are online. And let's make it easier and convenient. And by the way, they're getting more choices. It's more convenient and not necessarily more expensive. So there's an example of retail being saved. Thank you.
Thank you. There's one more question from the attendees, and I think Nandan or Monish would like to take this. Since everything is getting digitalized, will financial services see loss of jobs post-COVID-19? Will blockchain and crypto be disruptive?
No one can predict whether there will be job loss or not. But if you look at the last 1 year, many companies have actually not I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, there are some companies which have furloughed people. There are some companies who have laid off people. There are some companies who have not. So there are some sectors which have done well. There are some sectors which have not done well. So maybe linking back to the earlier question, that if you have a choice, think about sectors which might have done a little bit better than the others. And simple example, I work in the insurance and wealth management space. Like Vijay said, we had the record year last year. Part of it was driven by changing consumer behavior. People thought insurance is more important now. People thought saving is more important. So it is driven by consumer behavior, but also firms actually changed fundamentally. Across the industry, underwriting time came down from 30 days to 9 days because people felt that, okay, we can't let sales go because of the time that we are taking. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the industry itself, the structure of the industry is fundamentally changing. So while it is some people might say that I have never worked in digital. What can I do? I mean, what do I do now? Do I change everything to digital? I have never done that. But understand that the focus now has shifted. The focus has shifted from front end to back end to efficiency. How do you deliver the right product in the right way, in the right manner to the customer? So you can theoretically work in the supply chain in a grocery store and be the person who's driving efficiencies. How do you make sure that you have the right amount of inventory and you deliver it in the right manner? So there is scope there. I digress a bit. Will we see a loss of jobs in the financial services? My guess is no. People have started adopting, and wealth insurance actually will go on hiring. There might be certain sectors like credit cards, traditionally have done really well, may not do that well for some time till the travel sector comes back. So it will depend on the space that you're talking about.
Yeah. Thank you. There's another question. Any one of you can take this question. Would you like to provide an insight on the jobs of the future and in which industry? This can help to sharpen one's job strategy, job search strategy. So I would like to start with Surendraji, and then if anyone wants to add to it.
I think the job strategy definitely it is going to be more in the new technologies and AR, VR, and also how to really becoming themselves. And I'll encourage more IITians to become entrepreneurs themselves, how they can get into those skills rather than focusing on job. I mean, this is the time when you have more free time to plan, sit and see. And I think not only do a job search at the same time, parallel, I think as a strategy, what they should do is they should start thinking what is the kind of business they should enter in future and start planning the bricks right at this stage. This would be my tip for the IITians who are coming. On the long run, they'll benefit more, I mean, rather than getting into a job. Of course, job openings are coming up, like Vijay said, but try to be yourself an entrepreneur.
That's good. Anybody want to add to it? The jobs of
future? It's Mahendra. So what I would advise is technology is the greatest enabler. Okay, I would look at industries that are behind on the technology curve. There lies the greatest opportunity, whether you're an IT professional or an entrepreneur. Okay, in Canada, we have a huge extractive industry, oil and gas and mining. And I'm involved in mining. I have some knowledge about oil and gas. I will tell you they're behind in the use of technology in their business. It's still legacy, very old fashioned. Of course, they have to adjust because of price and whatnot, but there lies the opportunity, okay? Now, most people don't think about that. Most IT professionals don't think about that. But from my perspective, you wanna make an impact? Look at that, study it. The opportunities are there.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So adding to what Mahendra is saying, so we work with in fact, in all the refineries in India. So we work on their predictive maintenance, we work on their process optimization, we work on their computer vision based surveillance systems. What I found is that one skill that will be kind of augmented, and we can call it a skill or we can call it a creative ability as well, can be treated as a creative skill, is to re-visualize the experience of that digital technology. So how that technology is going to solve the need or the user experience, So user experience is the key for this, and any innovation that is happening anywhere, any skill. So this is for the people who want to come in Canada and get the jobs. If you have this ability to connect your technology to the potential user experience that you can create, then you are the most sought after person for the most innovative companies. All these companies have got these digital units. They are looking not just for that data scientist who can do all those algorithms, but also look at how this algorithm has to be presented. What feature and what purpose will it solve? So that ability, if any person can get, and his skill, he has any skill, be it back end, front end, software, any kind of skill, AR, VR stack, any of those stacks, but with this skill, he's a hot property. Everybody is after him. So I genuinely feel that this user experience thing has to be now thought of, because what is happening is that all physical experiences are disappearing. Commerce is shifting digital, demand, supply. So digital experience, having that visualization thing, it will work like wonders. So that's something that
Amazing.
Just to add to what Nandan's saying,
Yes.
If you work in a company, and sometimes, there is jobs that probably get given to a intern. Okay, go do this, intern guy, hey, volunteer for some of those jobs. Those are cutting edge things. Okay, so you might say, I don't want to learn something. Let's get some young guy to do these things. That young guy is the future, and he's doing that stuff. So you go and do that stuff. You will actually be sharpening your skills, right? Don't just say, let me get a young guy to do this stuff. Do those things yourself. So that's, I think it's just a very, very high level, don't say, I don't know this, let's get a young guy. No, learn that stuff. Okay, just a little bit there. So you don't need to know, just at a very high level, see what the young people are doing. What are they good at, right? And I think just follow that a little bit. And once you get down that, it's directional. There is no formula, do this, do that. But, directionally, see where in Hindi they say, na, hawa kahan chal rahi hai? Ab ye dekho ki hawa kahan chal rahi hai? Us tarah chalo, right? There's no answer. There is no thing like, what do I really do? It's a broad, revolution that's happening. You got to follow that.
I think, Vibha, I would like to add one more point, which is very important.
Absolutely.
Through my experience of handling IFI over the years has been that we may have the best skills. IITians are the brightest, the cream of the country, and whatever you may call. Once they have landed here, they're at their home, they have gone, distributed the resumes some places, but what they lack is the outreach. They don't go and meet the community as much as they should, and their presence should be felt more in the community. I would say even our local Indian bodies here, like Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, I don't see them coming forward. I don't see them at all in the Mississauga Board of Trade. I've been 6 years a director on the Mississauga Board of Trade. I hardly see young entrepreneurs or Indians who are looking for something or wanting to do network coming to those such meetings. There are excellent opportunities. If you go there, shake hand, show your presence, make contacts, exchange your visiting cards. They don't do that. So there are so many Indian associations in the GTA. None of them go forward and become the members. I mean, I'm seeing different kind of people. So this is one thing which IITians, I think they have to change the culture. I mean, I think IIT alumni has to focus more, IFA has to focus more. Anybody who's enrolling, tell them that get out into the community, make your contacts, know more people. That's how you'll find. And maybe a right kind of job came and you didn't know about it, it just passed by. So make your presence felt everywhere, then you will find a job very soon.
Yeah, and not just find a job. To add to Sharmaji's point, and I had the pleasure of working very closely with Sharmaji on a bunch of things. Is the same thing. Which way is the wind blowing? Exactly. You can speak to more people. You will understand where the wind is blowing. Otherwise, if you sit in your own place, your read of where the wind is blowing may not be right. Okay, so how do you get to find out, you meet more people, and again, you'll get to know that a little better. So absolutely, I think Sharmaji raised a very good point there.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And do you guys think that the pandemic has tipped the scale towards more entrepreneurship? And if yes, so what is one or two suggestions that you would give to entrepreneurs in this post-pandemic world? So I can start with Mahendra. I think and then you can add to it.
There's been many successful businesses and entrepreneurs out there who started their business when things were tough. Then look at the number of businesses that was started in the Depression and all of that, okay? So to me, I can't think of a better time and opportunity to launch your own business, okay? This whole pandemic and the way we do things has been disruptive. To me, disruption is probably negative from people who are used to and comfortable. But if you're an entrepreneur, you should not get comfortable with anything. Use this discomfort and disruption as an opportunity and come up with solutions. Yeah, there's problems everywhere. I mean, everywhere I turn, I hear about this, I hear about this. If I hear it enough, I say, wait a minute, there's an opportunity, okay? So, and I would say the support for entrepreneurs, definitely in this country, as well as organizations that we are members of, are very supportive. Take advantage of that, okay? So be solutions driven, be customer driven, okay? You may not have all the pieces to deliver on that, but if you have that mindset that you're solving a problem, whether you want to be employed, self-employed, or launch a big business or whatever, I think your odds of succeeding are there. So look at where the pain points are, where the gaps are, okay? And if you can address that, or if you know somebody who can address that, you're on your way. You may not have all the answers, but you know how to put the solution together. So that's what I would, it's the best time. I wish I was young. I would start right now, yeah.
So have you seen more startups, more entrepreneurs coming post-pandemic?
Yeah. We see that at the Canadian universities. We see a lot of young people. I mean, listen, anybody coming new to this country, irrespective of their background, academic and personal, there's a certain level of anxiety and there's also a certain level of expectations, okay? But, we're gone past, this country's gone past, dealing with new people coming in, okay? We've got such a welcoming thing. And I go back to what Sharmaji has said, okay? Take advantage, okay, of all what's available. I mean, you got Vijay willing to come to the airport to pick you up.
Very positive.
Okay, when you're a foreigner landing at the airport, okay, how do I get to the hotel with the friends I know? Okay, well, this is where Canada is, as Vijay expressed it. Okay,
totally agree.
And don't be afraid to ask. Okay, it's gaining knowledge. Okay, gaining intelligence. And today with internet and online, do your homework. The research is there. Okay, more doors will open. Okay, you don't even have to knock; they'll just open. Okay.
And just to add to Mahendra, I think do not be shoehorned into a certain. I worked in India for HDFC Bank. I worked for ICICI Bank. I worked for Credit Suisse. So I can only work for RBC, CIBC. But rubbish. Who said you can only work for that? What is the core skills that you've got? You know financial. You know numbers. What did you do in these ones? You got to go to find a place that needs your skills. So you'll have to distill what you've done. You don't have to stick to that industry. You can join the Deloitte. You can join a consulting group that goes and does digital transformation in these areas. There's a lot of places that you can move into. People need in retail today. There's a financial component, right? So you can find places. Just look for demand supply. So do not restrict yourself to the box of what you did in the past. Now that is also, I think, where today with digital transformation, as Mahendra said, huge opportunity. Mahendra, I'm a few years younger than him, only a few years younger than him, but I think I should be younger. Okay, this is also a glass half full perspective. I look at my daughter and I think I should be her age. This is fantastic. This is a brilliant, brilliant time to be. So I think, if you look, it's all a perspective. When you look at it from a very, what are the possibilities? It is fantastic. It's unbelievable. This is a great time because everything that everybody did until now is gone, right? It's a reset. So what happens in a reset? All of us on the same playing field. Everybody that built that huge big factory, did everything, all gone to a knot, right? So I think it's brilliant. It's fantastic. You can. It's almost a leveler. It's leveled playing field for everybody.
Yes.
I wanted to add something here. I have a slightly different point of view on this one. I mean, generally our panelists have agreed, but I have a slightly different point of view. Number of entrepreneurs has increased. I was doing some research on this. 50% more small business registrations in the US. In Japan, 70% more. So across the world, number of entrepreneurs have increased. Now, if you look beneath the surface, I think why it has increased is one, there has been major layoffs. So people have actually lost jobs and have looked for alternate ways of employment. And new needs have emerged. So there are new needs that were not there earlier, and hence people are doing a bunch of things that they did not do earlier. If you fundamentally try to understand if the environment has become more favorable, I feel it has not. So that is my personal opinion. People might disagree. I think funding has dried up. My wife is running a startup, so I know it is extremely tough to raise funding in this environment, especially for an early stage startup. And even the funding that has happened, venture capital firms who have actually funded a startup, more than 70% of the funding has gone towards late stage startups. So early stage startup is not easy. So I'm not discouraging anyone. Entrepreneurship is a great thing to do. If you have a great idea, if you want to do something, it's a great thing to do. But be prepared for a tough journey. I mean, don't think that you are going to walk on a bed of roses. There are going to be issues that will come along the way, and be prepared for that. If you're prepared for it, I think you will find a solution for this. Fundamentally, nothing has changed. I mean, you have to eventually find a solution to a existing problem that you need to solve in an efficient manner. So focus on that, and be careful of what you're doing, and be careful about the relevance of that post-COVID. So don't get into something which will not be relevant 1 year from now. So don't get into mass manufacturing, for example, from scratch. And that's a hypothetical example that I'm giving. So be careful that what you're doing will be relevant in the post-COVID world. So those are a few thoughts that I have, and not fundamentally disagreeing with Vijay and Mahendra, but I think the environment has not fundamentally become more favorable.
Yeah. So Monish, I will agree entirely with you. Okay. So for me, entrepreneurship is not just starting a business. Okay. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Entrepreneurship is a state of mind. Okay. I want you guys, if you're in a job as well, be entrepreneurial. Okay. Start thinking of how, even at your job, if you're entrepreneurial, you will go better. So I entirely agree. It is more. I'm more talking about, don't just say, I'm going to do 9 to 5. It's not going to work. Okay. Find ways, help your company, do things, volunteer. I want to get that entrepreneurial thing going within you. Let me rephrase. No, I'm not saying go start a business alone. Start something, maybe within where you are. Tell the company, why don't we do this? You don't have to put your own money. Take the company's money and go do something. Well, why not? If your company is not doing e-commerce, you go to the president, make a proposal. I will take the lead on getting an e-commerce thing going. Why not? You tell me, why would they not do it? You're entrepreneur within the company. So that's, I think, where I know. But again, Monish, it's never easy. And anybody who looks at, people come to me and say, you're overnight success. I told them, overnight success, that took 17 years to happen. Okay. So it is not easy. Absolutely not easy.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what I would do is I'm mentoring a company. Okay. So the founder here is probably about 45 years old. He had a nice government job, steady, and I won't get into more specifics, okay? He saw an opportunity, okay? He was very comfortable, steady pay, reliable. He was even ahead of the civil servants union or whatever, okay? He saw an opportunity. Guess what he did? He quit, started this company, trying to solve this problem, okay? He's got paying customers. Now he wants to scale, okay? And I look at him, and then my first question to him when I met him was, why did you quit your job? You know what he said to me is, because where I was staying, this thing was not being addressed, okay? And I saw an opportunity, okay? So somebody who was thinking like a management person or worker or whatever, saw an opportunity and took the chance and launched a business, okay? So as Vijay said, today large companies and even smaller companies are looking for innovative and better way of doing things. Put your hand up, okay? And if you don't find the right owner or whatever, then look somewhere else. Believe me, every company I'm involved are looking for people to do things better, okay? And it doesn't matter what your background is, ethnicity and gender, okay? So.
Thank you so much. And this is an amazing discussion. And I really feel like it should go on. So informative.
I'll just
Sorry.
add something at the end in just 2 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
Because since this whole today's seminar or workshop is focused more in helping only IITians, we are focusing only on IITians. I would say IFI should make some action plan after this, not just end with this. There should be a smaller group meeting or pull out, say 10, 15 people who really want to venture and want to become business people or are looking for jobs. There could be a little different guidance, those who want to get into business. Then I think we should have another panel of 5, 6 people who would be constantly open to guiding them or available on the phone, telling them, okay, this is how you, and some of the tips which we mentioned all during this whole course of discussion, I think they should be summarized, like community contacts, how they're going to develop, how to go get those skills done. Then there are lending programs, which are, after this, the banks are going to be more liberal in funding and all. So let us find out all those programs which are available, what is available to them, then how much cash they have available, their own personal assets, which they can put into. So they should do this kind of little homework and exercise, then arrive what kind of really business they can shoot at, what kind of business people they can be, and what businesses are available in the market. And there are franchises available. There are resources where you can go to some websites and search for the franchises available, which are successfully doing. That might cost $150,000, $200,000. They can borrow 150 and put in 50,000, and they can be owner of a running franchise. Maybe a person is retiring, he wants to hand over. So they have to be at the right time at the right place. So all that planning has to be done, very micro planning. I think IFI has to give that kind of guidance to all these new IITians who are coming, list them out and make an action plan. And if you need my time, I can help also in that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this is very, very valuable. And I'm handing over to Ashish to give you a lay of the rest of the day. And I would really, before we break, really want to thank Vijay, Mahendra, Monish, Surendraji, and Nandan for your time. I know you guys are super busy, and this was just a glimpse of the immense experience and the immense hard work that you have already done to like really establish yourself thus far. So, and I know that you guys have always been agreed to volunteer at your time to help everybody. So I think you are a valuable addition to our IITAC team, and I'm just volunteering yourself. So I would, again, thank you is a very small word. Thank you so much. And we will definitely be reaching out to you if any of our members have any questions. Thank you, and over to Ashish.
Thanks, Vibha. And yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Thank you for all the panelists for sharing your insight. A lot of good points came up, and actually thank you for all the attendees. I mean, there were some really good questions out there. Now, of course, there's a lot of interest, a lot of questions coming up still. People still want to discuss more. I don't know if the panelists, if that's okay, we have actually already documented those questions that we couldn't answer right now. Is it okay if we reach out to you offline, and if you can provide your insights later so that we can send it to all the registrants? That's okay. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.